The Woman Who Built Kings, and a miracle that found her once upon a time. There lived a woman named Rosemary. She had no children of her own, yet she opened her heart and home to five unwanted boys, abandoned by the world but embraced by her love. She raised them with blood, sweat, and soul, guiding them through hardship with nothing but compassion and courage. Years passed. Her boys grew into strong, kind men. On her 60th birthday, Rosemary stood in stunned silence as they handed her the keys to a brand new house, built from their gratitude, funded by their success, and shaped by the lessons she had poured into them. But life wasn't done writing miracles for her. Just 1 year later, those five sons got married on the same day, a joyous celebration that brought the entire community together. And then, in that same year, each of their wives gave birth, one after the other, month by month. And Henry, her eldest son, became a father to twin girls. He named them Rose and Mary, not because the names sounded beautiful, but because they were Rosemary, the woman who had given up everything so he and his brothers could have a chance at life. Rosemary, now 61, held her six grandchildren, four girls and two boys, with trembling hands and tear-filled eyes that a woman who was once childless had now become a matriarch. The whole region buzzed with the miracle of her story, how she turned pain into purpose, loneliness into legacy. But fate wasn't finished with her heart point one afternoon. While returning from her youngest son Divine's house, Rosemary saw a crowd gathered on her street. Curious, she asked her driver to stop, and that's when she saw him, a 7-year-old boy, unconscious in his school uniform, lying on the ground. Beside him, his 9-year-old sister wept. He collapsed, the girl whispered. He was crying because he was hungry. Rosemary didn't hesitate. She rushed him to the hospital herself, but it was too late. The little boy passed away alone, hungry, forgotten. Rosemary broke down in the hospital hallway, crying as if she had lost her own grandchild, because in her heart she had. That night, she couldn't sleep. She cried for the boy, for all the children who suffered in silence. By 5 a.m., an idea came to her, a calling. She sent a message to her sons through their family WhatsApp group, telling them about the little boy and her plan to open a free restaurant for underprivileged school children, open Monday through Friday, so no child would have to go to school hungry. Her sons responded instantly. They supported her with money, logistics, planning, and above all, love. Within months, the restaurant was ready. They called it Mummy's King's Free Restaurant. Every afternoon, children from a neighborhood lined up with joy, laughing, smiling. Federal soon, children who once skipped school because of hunger began attending regularly. Parents noticed, and one day, every parent and guardian whose child had been fed came together with special gifts to say, "Thank you, Rosemary." The story went viral. People sent money, food, and offers to sponsor staff salaries. Factories began monthly donations. The storage rooms overflowed with supplies. Rosemary had once again turned grief into hope. Then came Christmas. Her sons returned with their wives and all six grandchildren. They distributed food, clothes, and gifts to the community, giving back, just as their mother had taught them. As Rosemary served with a smile, her eyes suddenly caught a familiar figure in the crowd. A man struggling to reach the food table. She blinked, wiped her eyes, and froze. That it was him. Matthew, the man who had left her 26 years ago, her husband. The one who vanished when they couldn't have children. Her heart raced. Slowly, She walked up to him and gently tapped his shoulder. He turned, and Rosemary screamed, not from fear, but from shock, from pain, from a wound that had never truly healed. This was not the Matthew she had once known. He was thin, ragged. His eyes were hollow with years of sorrow and regret. The proud man she had married was now a broken stranger. He looked at her, really looked, and whispered, "Rosemary." She said nothing, just turned and walked away. Her sons noticed immediately. "Mama, what's wrong?" Henry asked. She shook her head. Not now. That night, alone in her room, she allowed herself to remember his laughter, his touch, the letter that ended their marriage, and the silence that followed. By morning, she made a decision. She called Henry and Kenneth. "I want to know where he's staying." Henry found him that very afternoon. "He just moved here last week," Henry said. "He's working as a gatekeeper. He's lost everything." "Take me to him," Rosemary said. They found Matthew in a tiny room, sitting on a worn-out chair. He looked up, shocked, when they entered. Rosemary stood tall, calm. "I want to know," she said quietly. "Why did you leave me?" And for the first time in 26 years, Matthew had no lies left. "I left," he began, "because I was ashamed. The treatments weren't working. I felt like less of a man. I couldn't give you the life we dreamed of. I thought leaving would set you free." Rosemary looked at him, her voice steady. "You didn't set me free. You broke me. I spent years wondering what I did wrong. But the truth is, you just gave up." Matthew bowed his head. "I watched you from afar. Saw how you raised those boys. You became more than a mother. You became a queen. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I forgave you a long time ago," Rosemary replied softly. "Not because you deserved it, but because I deserved peace." She turned to her sons. "This man is not my husband anymore, but he's still human, and he needs help." Without hesitation, Henry and Kenneth helped him. Not out of duty, but out of love. The same love their mother had poured into them in the months that followed, Rosemary helped Matthew rebuild. Slowly, he found purpose again. He worked hard, started a small business. He began to heal. And one day, he returned. He walked up to Rosemary's door, knelt before her, and said, "Thank you, Ma, for transforming my life." She looked at him with no bitterness, only peace. "I didn't do anything," she said softly. "God did, because mercy finds us when we least deserve it." Matthew smiled for the first time in decades, not for himself, but because he finally understood the kind of love she had always known, a love that feeds the hungry, a love that forgives, a love that builds kings. Rosemary never gave birth to children. She chose them. She didn't just open a home. She opened hearts. Her story is a living legacy, written not in blood, but in sacrifice, choice, and a love that changes lives. And remember, forgiveness is not weakness. It's freedom. Legacy is not built in palaces. It's built in meals served, tears wiped, and souls healed. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories that restore faith in humanity. Thank you for watching.